My life is a miracle. Every child has a story of God's love to share. Shalom world, tune into God's love story.
Hello and welcome to a time of excitement and inspiration. I'm Manoj Sunny. Together with Shalom World, we'll take you through the journeys of a group of ordinary people in the Jesus Youth Movement who dared to follow an extraordinary call as a part of the full-time volunteer project. A project that has been instilling the missionary lifestyle in young people for the last 28 years. A project that has put 28 batches of young people, around 2,000 so far, through a 30-day intensive training and placing them in mission centers around the world for a whole year. And that's exactly why they are called God's crazy people. Today, we have with us Soumya Simon, daughter of K.K. Simon and Anama Simon, who holds a master's and MPhil in clinical psychology. Soumya was born and raised in Jaipur, Rajasthan, India, and after her post-graduation, she decided to set apart 1 year fully for the Lord and attended the International Full-Time Volunteers Training in Thailand in the year 2012. Soumya took up the very unique challenge to work in an extremely difficult mission country during a 1 year full-timership. I won't mention the name of the country because of the sensitive situation there. She received the National Youth Award in 2018 from the Catholic Bishops' Conference of India. She is currently working as an associate professor at a prestigious college in Bangalore. Let's welcome this power package, Soumya Simon. Welcome, Soumya.
Thank you so much, Manoj.
Soumya, when did you take a decision to set apart this 1 year for the Lord? Especially in northern part of India, maybe at that time it was not so common, and you took a decision. It was a bold decision, I believe.
It was actually when I was doing my master's in Bangalore. So at that point in time, I was part of the Karnataka Council. So the Karnataka coordinator, campus coordinator asked me, Soumya, how about going for a 1 year full-timership? And he himself is a full-timer. So that's when I actually started thinking about it. I was not sure if I could, but then somewhere I realized that I'm quite comfortable with everything that is there around me. Like if I have a problem or anything of that sort, I have somebody to rely on, mostly material. Even though I'm praying, I'm not so much dependent on Christ. And I felt that going for this 1 year full timership would help me to take that leap of faith and just jump into the arms of my God and to trust only and only in His providence and care. So that desire to have that experience was which led me to go for the full timership.
Normally, at the end of the training, the team decides on the placement, and you were allocated with one of the most difficult places, a very sensitive place. Is it because of this desire to break your comfort zone and take up that challenge, you accepted that call to go to this place?
It was around 4 years back. I was attending a program, and during that program, there was a book stall, and one of the books was talking about this particular land where I was supposed to go. And for some reason, I was not interested in buying that book. But the person who was selling it said, "Who knows, someday you might go as a missionary to this place." I bought that book, telling him that probably, I mean, you are a very good person, you're very good at with marketing, but I never read that book. Soon as after it was announced that you are being sent to this place, the next day when I was sitting for my personal prayer, this cover of this book flashed uh, to my mind, and I realized that this is the book that I need to read as soon as I get back home. And that book had the details of how missionaries were working and the kind of changes and the things that they experienced, that the difficulties and the challenges that they experienced in that land. I think it was somewhere God knew it, and he decided he is the one who planned it and tailored it for my growth and my change.
So, I mean, a new culture, new language, completely different food, extreme weather, all other difficulties and challenges, including if someone knows about the purpose of your presence in that country, even your life can be at risk. And how did you survive there? And what were you doing there?
I would say one was fear of death. So when I'm going, I was not, I wouldn't say that I was someone who was confident or ready for it. I can't say that. And in fact, the first few days I ended up being in tears because I didn't know if I was ready to give my life completely for Christ. So it took a lot of time and certain experiences that helped me to overcome that fear of death. So that was my first challenge that I had. Second was there were 2 months of a time where I had absolutely nobody to interact with. I was all by myself, and I needed to make sure that I'm keeping myself sane. So I would have to schedule a timetable and do certain things. One beautiful thing that happened at that time was God became more real to me at that time. It became, those 2 months were turned from a time of loneliness to a time of solitude. It was a very joyful time because then it was no more just me in my room. Then it's the whole heaven there. And in fact, there was one time when I actually took another chair and kept it beside me and said, "Jesus, you sit by my side and let's spend this time together." So it was God's constant presence and love that helped me to survive in that land.
Soumya, I have a surprise for you. Joining us now for the Binu Palakapalli IC, a Rosmanian priest from India, former chaplain of Jesus Youth of UK, and he's currently serving as the provincial council and the rector of the major seminary of the Institute of Charity in Bangalore. He's also the chaplain of Bangalore campus ministry now. For the Binu Palakapalli.
I know Soumya from 2008. I first met her during the World Youth Day in Sydney. From that time onwards, I noticed Soumya because I think she was only 17 or 18-year-old then. She came across as a very joyful Jesus youth, very bubbling, very animating. But one thing that I noticed to her particularly was the curiosity to know more. And she used to call every now and then for any doubt. Most of the time, as I said, for asking questions and doubts. That is a great quality that I have found in her. Sometimes her questions were difficult, as I said at times. It's difficult to answer, but it was a joyful thing to listen to her and walk with her. Later, I came to know that Soumya was sent to one of the most difficult countries where evangelization is possibility. But Soumya went without any hesitation. She went there and I was back in UK that time, and a fine morning I got a call from Soumya via Skype. I think it is after the 3 days that she has arrived in that place, and she was feeling a lot down and a lot of doubt whether she has made the right choice and all those difficult moments. And thank God that God used me to talk to her and walk with her and strengthen her. And during her whole time being there, she kept in contact. Though it was very difficult, as I said, the country that she was in was a very difficult country, but somehow we kept in contact. Uh, there is a close connection and there is a close walking, and I find that is a privilege that I was given to walk with her during that time. I want to ask you a question. I'm sure that I'm the most influential person in your life, joke apart. But now I come to the question. Can you just tell us who is the most influential person in your life from the Jesuit movement?
Thank you, Father Binu. That's a very good question. Soumya, what do you think? Who's the most influential person other than Father Binu in your life?
Well, if you ask me that question, I think I have a surprise for you as well. This is not to flatter you or anything, Manoj, but then I would say you've been one of the persons who has inspired me a lot. You were ready to give up everything. It's like, when I say everything, it also means the personal space that you have and your family. Everything you were ready to give up to make sure that youngsters had a beautiful God experience. It's more about, how your family became a home for many youngsters, and that became a time for change in their lives. One of my personal missions or dreams is to have a home where youngsters can come with full freedom and spend their time and have a God experience.
Thank you, Soumya. That was a real surprise, and I'm really humbled by your sharing. Soumya, you have completed almost like 8 years after your full-timership. And how does this full-timership experience help you in living your life today?
This full timership experience that gave a very strong conviction in my heart of Christ being truly alive in my life. So he's no more somebody distant or far and somebody to whom I talk to once in a while, but he's there with me. He is so alive and active and making things happen for me.
As a person who received the National Youth Award, these years, Pope Francis is continuously talking about the importance of, or like maybe the role of women in the church. Especially, he used this word, using the women genius in the day-to-day activities of the church. Or he underlines the importance and the role of women in the mission of the church. What do you think about it?
I think it's very relevant, and I feel great that he's emphasizing on this aspect. It's neither age nor our gender that makes us do what we are doing, the mission and whatever it is. It's not the age or the gender. It's purely grace. So I've been part of Jesus Youth since 14 years, and I would say ever since I've been part of the movement, I've never had somebody come to me and tell me, "Oh, you are a girl, so probably we won't send you for this work or that work, or you don't." I never had that experience. So, as a Catholic community, when we create that environment, and when we say that it doesn't make any difference whether you are a man or a woman. If you're called, you can do what you're called to do. I feel that's what ultimately matters. And there have been times when I have been in teams where I was probably the only girl, but I was never told that okay, you are a girl and so you can't, or maybe, we'll ask somebody else to do this. uh, and again now, this place where I was sent, I felt so good for the fact that, nobody thought or said that, how can we send a girl to a place like that, or no, nobody said that. So having that environment makes a difference. And when Holy Father is encouraging and he talks about women being involved, I think it makes a lot of difference, because how everybody sees it and how I as an individual, I as a woman see it, makes a lot of difference. So by God's grace, everything is possible.
My final question. Do you want to share any message to the young people? And you are a teacher now, you're teaching in a college, and I think most of your time you are interacting with young people. And what do you want to tell them?
From my full-timership experience and experience with the Lord, this just one thing that I can say. If there is anything that, or anybody who is a constant in your life, that's only Jesus. Knowing Him personally and having that personal encounter with him would be one of the most beautiful accomplishments that you could have had. Nothing else matters today. The current situation that we are going through, I think everybody is in a question mark, has a question mark as to what's going to happen next. Nobody knows. But if at all we can say something or somebody is constant, that is God and His love for you and me. So let's not keep back ourselves from jumping into His arms and taking that leap of faith.
Thank you, Soumya, for that inspiring message. I was reminded of one of my favorite quotes of Pope Benedict XVI. He repeated this message several times during his papacy, and he included it in Verbum Domini, his apostolic exhortation. He said, if we let Christ into our lives, we lose nothing, absolutely nothing of what makes life free, beautiful, and great. Dear young people, do not be afraid of Christ. He takes nothing away and he gives you everything. When we give ourselves to him, we receive 100-fold in return. Yes, open wide the doors to Christ, and you will find true life. Thank you, dear Soumya, for joining us. It was great having you with us on this show. May the Lord always accompany you and fulfill all your plans for the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Manoj.
We are talking about a special call, and we are all set to meet a special person who can shed more light on this journey. So here is a special guest for the day, Charles Anthony Bastin. Charles was a 2006 batch full-timer, and he lives in India with his wife and son. He was in charge of the full-timership training for several years, including the one we had in Uganda last year. For the last 4 years, he serves as the national coordinator of Jesus Youth of India. Charles.
As part of Jesus Youth Movement, I got an opportunity to associate with around 10 batch of full-time volunteers project. So these volunteers, they come from different background for this project. So the movement give them an overall development in terms of personality development, faith formation, and missionary formation. So after the 1 month training, when they go back to the mission places, along with the activities, they get ample time for the faith formation. Like they get enough time to do their prayer, do the spiritual readings, participate in the sacraments. So like that, they are developing their faith during this 1 year of project. And also they get involved with the real mission activities which the Catholic Church is doing. They may be doing with the parish or sometimes with the community, but they get involved with the mission activities in very far places of villages like that. So the fruits which I see through this full-time volunteers project, or rather I would like to emphasize, is about one is faith formation at their very young age, and also the missionary seal that is developed through this 1 year of volunteership, so that, and they continue after this 1 year also, they continue with that seal throughout their life. All these young people are accompanied by a Catholic priest for their spiritual nourishment, to clarify their spiritual doubts, for the sacraments, especially for confession. So in that way, we ensure that there is the spiritual deepening of these young people. Also, they are accompanied by a Jesus Youth leader as a mentor, so that these mentors guide them in their day-to-day activities, as well as help them to grow in their leadership. So I wish the Jesus Youth Movement and we all may continue this beautiful project in the years to come, and to serve the Catholic Church in the best possible way.
Thank you, Charles, for that beautiful sharing. As you shared, there is a balanced way in which each full-time volunteer is accompanied by a priest and a layperson in a pastoral way, and the layperson acts as a mentor. This combination works beautifully, ensuring their growth in all 4 aspects of Catholic formation, which is defined by St. John Paul II in Pastoris Davo Vobis, in human, spiritual, pastoral, and intellectual levels. So if any one of you listening to me now is inspired to answer a similar call, do get in touch with us. So that's it for today, friends. Let's keep each other in prayer and stay crazy for God until we meet again next week for the same program on Shalom World. For more exciting contents, watch shalomworld.org and download the free apps of Shalom World on your iOS and Android devices. Thank you.
Someone who's used media a lot in evangelization, so I believe in the importance of Catholic radio, Catholic TV, Catholics using the new media. Can I encourage everyone to watch Shalom TV? I think it's a great vehicle of evangelization. And God bless all of you.